Hello everybody, my name is Kaz, and welcome to MMDL. It's been a while. The last time we left off, we were going into week 3, and then unfortunately we lost due to some misplays on my end. After that, I decided to change the team around, but it's been so long, I don't fully remember what my previous team's abilities were. But these were the mons that I had on the team. I had Ogerpon, Garganical, Galissapod, Hooper, Cyclozar, Skuntank, Girder, Electrode, Primarina, Simisear, Stunfisk Galar, and Swadloon. I hinted in the last video that I did that we were making changes. We are dropping Simisear and Stunfisk Galar, and just because I needed the points, unfortunately, I had to drop Galissapod and Hooper. Galissapod kind of overlapped quite a lot with Primarina, and I felt like I was going to struggle to bring it for the rest of my weeks. Hooper was the one that hurt a lot. It was just such a good breaker for the team, but it did have the obvious double 4x weakness, terrible defense, stuff like that, which made it a little hard when actually building to position it. But I think it was just because in general the team was pretty bad, and so was my piloting on it. So we ended up dropping those 4 Pokemon. Maybe I'll use them in the future and different time. What we ended up picking up was Moltres, Toxapex, and Hattrem. So if I go here and look at our week 4 matchup, I can show you the abilities. So, Ogerpon is now Terravolt, Sword of Ruin. I did originally have Grassy Surge on this, but I felt like I was never bringing it, as Sword of Ruin was just such a good ability for it. It was doing the same amount of damage as the Grassy Terrain boost was doing, and it just made its coverage moves be a little more clickable. The knockoffs, the rock tombs, the U-turns, things like that. Garganical is now Unaware and Water Absorb. I believe it was Magic Guard before, and I changed it. It was Magic Guard before because I didn't want it taking tons of hazards, as well as some of the other effect. I think in week 2 I brought it Life Orb just for that bit of boosted damage. And now Water Absorb because I feel like my matchup into offensive waters was pretty lackluster. Oh yeah, for Ogerpon we went Terravolt just because there were some Sap Sipper mons in my future matchups, which I just wanted to try and rather force the Sap Sipper or just have them not bring the mons in general. We then have Moltres, which is Desolate Land and Magic Guard. Magic Guard was a given for this. You don't want to be running boots in almost an ability format with your Moltres and not taking those 50% from rocks. It's just so good. Also the boost if you want to run like Life Orb, things like that. And then Desolate Land just for a fire nuke. It's more of a threat really than I feel like this always comes Magic Guard. You might have one Desolate Land match. Next up we have Toxapex with Earth Eater and Volt Absorb. I thought Toxapex would be a pretty interesting mon to try in this format, as normally it really heavily relies on that Regenerator ability. But I thought if I gave it 2 immunity abilities in the Earth Eater and Volt Absorb, in some matchups it could be really good as a defensive wall, and potentially be very obnoxious. And that was the hope. Cyclozar is Scrappy and Wellbeak Body. I think I was originally Aerialate, which I tried to run a couple times, but it just wasn't really working out too well. And I think this originally was Mold Breaker as well, which I had to get rid of for Terravolt Ogerpon. So we went to Scrappy so I can get those normal types hits off on ghost types, and then I can't be blocked when rapid spinning. And then Wellbeak Body is, I felt like my team was a little weak to offensive fire types. So I feel like that will help me out. Skuntank, Levitate, Vessel of Ruin. We were originally Earth Eater, but since I wanted that on the Tox packs, I felt like that was coming more often, we just changed it to Levitate. So it's still a mon with no weaknesses. Though that being said, I feel like I'm always bringing this Vessel of Ruin. I don't know if I ever brought Levitate. Next up we have Gerda, Fluffy Technician. I might have been something else other than Technician before. I'm not fully sure. Or it might have just stayed the same. Gerda's the goat. Next we have Electrode with Refrigerate and No Guard. I don't think that's changed. Primarina, Regenerator, Primordial Sea. Don't think that's changed. Swadloon, Prankster, Sturdy. I think that's also the same. And then we have Hatchram with Shadow Shield and Aroma Veil, which was just kind of a 1 point like Trick Room option. And it could like Nuzzle, Healing Wish was another thing. Just stuff like that, really. So this is my week 4 matchup. Today we're going to go through my week 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 matchup. And I'm not going to lie to you, this was a rough season for me. I did not do great. This is probably the worst performance I've had in a draft league. And it happened to be my own draft league, which is, it's never fun, but, you know, game is game. So actually for this, I think I may have mentioned it in the previous video, but if not, I messed up when it came to the tiering for this. I always said that the tiering was going to be pretty bad, as this was a new format, and we were just kind of... I was just seeing what stuck, really. The problem is I somehow completely missed that Noivern in regular AAA is banned. And I allowed it. And it wasn't even max points. Yeah, that was a huge fuck up on my part, not gonna lie. But, yeah, so my opponent for this week, VN, got rather very lucky, or he knew ball. So his team consists of the Noivern with Aerialate and Magic Guard. Very, very scary with those boom bursts. Iron Leaves, Sharpness, and Psychic Surge. He actually changed Psychic Surge right before my match and right before I made the changes. So I feel like it could have been he was a bit scared of the Galissapod matchup. So he changed it to Psychic Surge to try and not be super weak to Galissapod. Excadrill with Earth Eater and Wellbake Body. That's his max pointer, though it's his kind of his second best mon. He is Milotic with Regenerator, Unaware. It originally was Volt Absorb instead of Unaware, I'm pretty sure, before this matchup. So he wasn't too scared of Electrode, which it's an Electrode. Scrappy, Toxic Chain, Ambipom. Could be very annoying. Kling Clang, Technician, Primordial Sea is actually pretty dang good into my team. Grimmsnarl, Supreme Overlord, and Fluffy. Super annoying for me to break outside of something like the Moltres, but even that, I don't think I do a whole lot unless I'm really offensive. Kabutops, Levitate, and Sheer Force. I don't really see it coming, but it's definitely a possibility. Relatively strong mon. A Sturdy, Shield Dust, a Selgor. I really thought this would come as a like final Gambit mon, since overall my team has very low HP stats. So you'll see that a bit in my builder. Throw with Analytic Harvest. I don't really see this coming, but it could be an annoying option. Manectric, Electric Surge, Refrigerate. It could come, but I felt like there were better things to come in the match. And then Salazzle, Desolate Land, Merciless. I thought Salazzle was going to be super prevalent in this matchup, and definitely come, as my team really struggles to switch into those stabs, especially if it's Desolate Land. So we'll get a bit to the team builder. So first up, we have Skuntank, Assault Vest, Vessel Ruin, Sucker Punch, Gunk Shot, Knockoff, and Player Off with 200 HP, 52 attack, 4 defense, and 252 Spit Death with a Careful Nature. I don't fully know what this is for. Sorry, it's been a while. I think this takes 2 hits from Noivern, and could also be my switch into something like the Salazzle, and can do decent damage to like Grimmsnarl and switch, things like that. We then have Electrode, where Expert Belt, Refrigerate, T-Bolt, Volt Switch, Terrablast, and Signal Beam. 80 HP, 252 special attack, 176 speed with a modest nature. I think this outspeeds his entire team, barring Scarf Noivern, which he definitely could be in this match, but I can't really do too much against it. It's a very good Mon. I believe I Oko with Terrablast on the Noivern if it's not Scarf, and obviously outspeeds me. Signal Beam was for the Iron Leaves. I'm not even sure if that killed, I'm going to be honest. Electrode is incredibly weak. Volt Switch just for like momentum, and then T-Bolt. I think the reason we're like Expert Belt is potentially a 2-hit KO on, it's probably like max HP Milotic. It's not even Spadef Milotic. Next up we have Toxapex, we have Black Sludge, Earth Eater, we have Liquidation, Ice Spinner, Payback, Recover. 248 HP, 8 attack, 252 Spadef with a careful nature. I think this takes Noivern hits pretty well, and then we can Ice Spinner it back. Payback, I think, is for probably does the most against something like the Iron Leaves. Recover to keep healthy, and then Liquidation is for the Drill, I do believe. Next we have Gerda, we are Eviolite Fluffy, like we've been for the rest of the week. So Knockoff, Counter, Default, Rain Punch, 248 HP, 68 attack, 192 defense with an Impish nature. I think the attack was for... what was it for? Is it Knockoff the Leaves? Or it could be like a Drain Punch calc for like Drill. Ooh, Cling Clang. I'm not 100% sure. Counter is there for a hard hit from, I think, Leaves. But could also be Drill. I'm not entirely sure on that. Next up we have our designated lead. We are Custap Berry, Water Absorb Garganical. We Recover, Earthquake, Stealth Rock Explosion, 248 HP, 28 attack, 232 defense with a relaxed nature. This is to get up rocks, as rocks look pretty good in this matchup. I know he does have the removal options in things like Drill and things. Is Drill? Yeah, and like Noivern can, but in this format I didn't think it would be Defog. So I think it's Drill. Yeah, it might only be Drill. So I felt like doing that. Earthquake was a good hit into a lot of his team. Recover to try and keep healthy if he doesn't get me down to Custap immediately. And then if I can get that Custap explosion on something like the Noivern or like Milotic or something, I think I do a good chunk. And then finally we have our Cova Berry, Ogerpon, Sword of Ruin, Swords Dance, Trailblaze, Ivy Cudgel, Rock Tomb, 252 attack, 20 Spadef, and 236 speed with a jolly nature. I believe with this Spadef plus Cova Berry, if it's not boosting item, Noivern, I think I live a Boom Burst. And then I can take it out with Rock Tomb, or like 2 Rock Tombs, something like that. Yeah, I don't have a good matchup in this. The ones that I was predicting to come were top 4 Salazzle, and then I think rather Kling Clang or Grimmsnarl. No, I definitely thought a Cell was coming. And I thought that was Final Gambit lead, which is also the reason we led Garganical, as it's like my most HP invested mon other than Skuntank, and I needed Skuntank for his special attackers. Right, cool. Let's get into this matchup. So we're going to lead off with our Garganical. I'm actually going to make this fast, as we're doing so many of these. We're going to rush through this. So he did bring the Manectric. No Salazzle was really shocking, and so was no Iron Leaves, to be honest. Kling Clang was definitely an option that could come. I felt like it'd be more of a defensive mon for like a potential Primarina, which I actually didn't bring this week. And then, yeah, top 3, a Selgor, who I really thought would be like lead Final Gambit. But it wasn't. It was a lead Manetric. I didn't really particularly know what to do. I don't think I've ever faced off against a regular Manetric. And this was just bad prep on my part. I didn't check what moves it gets. I roughly knew what coverage it got, but I didn't realize it had switcheroo. So unfortunately, I'm going to immediately lose my DepressedAhri. And we're going to get a Choice Scarf. That's way faster than I thought it would be. Oh god. So switcheroo, I get out my Stealth Rocks, but now my Garganical is Choice Scarf, and since we're so slow, the Choice Scarf just doesn't really matter. We go into Skuntank, because I know I'm so Spadef I can take any one of this person's hits, as it's going to Volt Switch out, and still does 18 to a very Spadef Skuntank. And he just goes out into Drill, which is very unfortunate, as he's just going to be able to spin on me. I could have potentially predicted a spin, but my Skuntank didn't really touch this. It would have been like a knock, but yeah. I felt like if it was trying to get me out, because Skuntank was just really important for that Noivern, I'll just go out into my Toxapex, but this doesn't really touch, but it's going to be able to spin on me. Goes into Milotic. I got a Liquidation, and we're going to do absolutely nothing. I do kind of regret not being something like Toxic on this, as whittling down this would have been really well. We do go out into our Electrode, as he's going to Flip Turn into Drill. I don't really do anything to this, so I'm going to go out into my Girder. So yeah, I think counter was for this then, as it's going to Earthquake and do a decent chunk. Gonna knock off the Acelgor. So it turns out this Acelgor was his Girder check, which kind of makes sense, as it can take a lot of Girder's hits. It relatively walls me here, so that I'm forced to go into Garganical. As he starts getting up layers of spikes, he's going to U-turn on me, go into Milotic, as we're going to Stealth Rock. I really wish I boomed. This would have done very well to this. He's just going to get me in the flip turn loop. Goes out into Klinklang, and yeah, I go into Girder, and he's going to be a sub-offensive Klinklang. He's going to Gear Grind. You're going to see I get quite unlucky here, where he got one crit, and then yeah, he can just kind of go into Milotic, which I never beat. Gonna go out on Garganical. This was really for like a sack. Actually, I'm Water Absorb, so no. To click EQ, he's gonna Dragon Tail me out. Go Ogerpon. I think the problem with this is now that there's that Spike Chip, the Cobra Berry doesn't matter, I don't think. So go out into this, go out into the Klinklang. As we click Trailblaze. I can't take this out because I don't have the coverage, so we're going to go Girder again, take more spikes, get the Gear Grind, and he's going to get another crit on me, which is really unfortunate. As he goes Acelgor again, takes those rocks. Drain Punch does very little. We're going to go out into Garganical, as he reveals to be Recover. He's going to U-turn on me. And do I boom this time? I do boom this time. It's on Drill. It does do quite a decent chunk this time. But if I had just EQ'd here, I probably would have been in a lot better of spot. Actually, no, because I think this is Earth Eater. I think this was my play. Was this Earth Eater? I've already forgotten. Earth Eater, Well-Baked Body. Yeah. So it was Earth Eater. Yeah, so I'm going to go out to my Ogerpon. I thought that the play would be to switch here and keep Drill, since it's still very good, into something like my Skuntank. My Electrode still can't take it out from this range. So I thought I'd go for a Swords Dance. He ended up being Rapid Spin. Just Rapid Spinning, and then he could take me out. I didn't really have a switch in from here, so that was just kind of a waste of my Ogerpon. We go out to Girder, but because of those crits that I took from those 2 crits that I got from Gear Grind, I was now in range of an EQ, as I think I did the math. Yeah, so I think so it was doing 9%, did an extra 6%. So 12%. So I would have been at 36. And what did EQ do beforehand? EQ did 29. So yeah, I would have been out of range of an EQ or potentially a roll, but I think I would have been out of range. But those crits made it so I just died. Go on to my tox specs, but I can't really do anything to this Milotic. So he's just gonna be able to. Yeah, I'm going to get 6-0'd. So I'm going to recover on this. This Klinklang is going to get a free substitute. The problem is I just can't really do anything. It's going to shift gear. I'm going to click payback. It's going to substitute, which I just don't break. And then, yeah, we just end up getting 6-0'd. This is the first time I've ever been 6-0'd. Which is... it's not a good feeling, especially since it's in my own league, but I guess it had to happen at some point. The other thing is he never brought out Noivern once, which was the biggest threat on his team. I just couldn't do anything. Right, moving on to week 5. Going on to week 5 against DepressedAhri. Team is the same as before. We don't make any more changes. My opponent's team has Samurai Hisui with Sharpness, Gudra with Tablets of Ruin Unaware, Dugtrio with Adaptability, Proto-Synthesis. We have Double with Marvel Scale and Scrappy. We have Decidueye with Grassy Surge and Soundproof. We have Incineroar, Prankster, Sword of Ruin. Satian with Technician, Libero. Nidoking with Beads of Ruin, Corrosion. Magneton with Primordial Sea, Refrigerate. Honchkrow with Dark Aura, Magic Guard. Vaporeon with Regenerator, Volt Absorb. And Lopunny with Pixelate and Intimidate. My team consists of a Choice Scarf Moltres. We are U-Turn. Well, we're Magic Guard. We're U-Turn, Flare Blitz, Brave Bird, Scorching Sands with 200 HP, 92 attack, and 216 speed with a Jolly Nature. I don't particularly remember what that outspeeds. It's Scarfed something. Is it Scarf Samurott? I feel like Samurott would be a bit faster than this, but it might be Scarf Samurott. Something like this where I can just U-turn on it. Scorching Sands is so I can have something to hit the Magneton, as I feel like this happens a lot when I draft a team, particularly because I play a lot of low tier. I end up getting matchups against Magneton, and it's just like the best thing into me. This team's really annoying for me to break. Magneton is really good both defensively and offensively into my team. So you'll see that in a bit. So we have this is a pretty decent breaker. Magic Guard, so I don't take any damage from Brave Birds or Flare Blitzes. And yeah. Next up we have Gerda. Eviolite. This time we are Technician. I think this is the only time that I brought Technician. Muck Punch, Drain Punch, Defog, Ice Punch, 248 HP, 16 attack, 244 defense with an add-on in nature. I believe this is for a 2-hit KO of Muck Punch on the Titan, I want to say. I think that's the main thing. Yeah. And overall it does good damage to stuff like the Samurott, Honchkrow, Incineroar. He's got a lot of stuff kind of weak or neutral to fighting, so it was a pretty good bring. Next we have Heavy Duty Boost, Earth Eater, Tox Packs with Infestation, Scald, Recover, and Knockoff. 248 HP, 32 defense, 228 Spadef with a Relaxed Nature. Yet again, couldn't tell you what the spread is for. This is mainly because I was very scared of the Dugtrio and Nidoking. up until this point, Dugtrio was like the second highest kill leader, as Banded Adaptability Dugtrio was just going ham. And I was really scared of it into my team, not only because it has a great speed tier against me, but also just because I kind of just struggled defensively against it. So I had to bring the Earth Eater. And then Infestation is, I thought it'd be kind of funny if I locked the Dugtrio in when that's its regular job of Arena Trap. So if I kept it in, I'd be able to Scald kill it, and that would have been fun. Next up, we've Hat Rem. We have Eviolite, Shadow Shield, Healing Wish, Draining Kiss, Trick Room, and Psychic. 252 defense, 252 special attack, and 4 Spadef with a modest nature. We really want Trick Room in this game. Trick Room looks pretty decent against my opponent's team. I think slowest mon is base 65? I don't remember double speed tier. Something like that. It's a relatively like, he's got a lot of the mid-range speed tiers, but nothing particularly like incredibly slow. So I feel like Trick Room would be really good. Getting up a Trick Room, being able to Healing Wish. I can take good hits due to my Shadow Shield and being so defensive of Eviolite. The Draining Kiss to try and get health back, and then Psychic is just obviously my stab click. We then have our Trick Room Sweeper. We have Mystic Water, Primordial Sea, Primarina with Weather Ball, Moonblast, Energy Ball, and Aqua Jet. We're 248 HP, 252 special attack, and 8 Spadef with a Quiet Nature. This does so much damage into my opponent's team, depending on what I click and what they go into. I don't believe... Yeah, they don't have any Water Absorb mons, and they don't have Desolate Land. They do have Primordial Sea, but that doesn't affect my Primordial Sea. So Primordial Sea Weather Ball was just looking so good into my opponent's team, doing a ton of damage. And then finally, we have Expert Belt, Sword of Ruin, Ogerpon with Trailblaze, Ivy Cudgel, Play Rough, Knockoff, 40 HP, 252 attack, and 216 speed with a Jolly Nature. Just as really good into my opponent's team. I'm going to get rid of this because I keep on going over to it, but I don't need to. Yeah, this just looked really good. If I get like a Trailblaze off, I'm not really threatened by something like a Dugtrio or a lot of his other stuff, and I can just hit it for very hard amount of damage. So we're finished with this. Let's get into the battle. I believe my designated lead is that Hatch Ram. Yep. So our opponent brings, obviously, the Samurott. I know he's probably trying to get off max layers of hazards. Lopunny, which I'm assuming is going to be like something like Healing Wish. Nidoking, which is pretty threatening in this matchup. I'm assuming... It could come as Corrosion, but Beads of Ruin just makes a little more sense, I think. That Magneton, which I was almost guaranteed to come, as it would just look so good into me. Titan, which is a pain in the ass, and then Ngudra, which is just one of his best mons, and very good into me. So we're going to come out in here. He's going to immediately flip turn, which I thought was pretty interesting. Maybe just worried about what I'd go to. Maybe think I was like weakness policy or something. And goes out into Gudra, which I don't really do a whole lot to. I do have Draining Kiss, but I'm going to immediately just get out my Trick Room. And we're going to try and get out and get our Shadow Shield back. Going to knock off, unfortunately, no more Eviolite. Now here I made a little bit of a mistake, as I'm running out of Trick Room turns since I'm staying in. I decided that I was going to Draining Kiss again to get on my Shadow Shield, but the Toxic came out, which means I can never get to my Shadow Shield again. We then go to Toxapex, as this Gudra doesn't really touch me all too well, as he goes Nidoking. Now, I, in Trick Room, outspeed this, and I can click Infestation. I'm surprised stayed in with this, maybe thought I'd be more absorbed because of how weak I am to Magneton, sorry, which makes honestly a whole lot of sense, but I think like this was very risky, as I'm just gonna keep this in, and with my immunity, I can just take out this Nidoking without any trouble, and that gets rid of a huge threat to me. Cool. Then goes out into Samurott, and at least the tech worked, the infestation tech. Goes out into Samurott, probably to get up some spikes through Ceaseless Edge. I think I'm going to infestation, so he's going to do 29%, and we're going to click that infestation, just to mean he can't get out unless he flip turns, and I can just recover as he slowly whittles down. I'm going to end up getting a crit, which is really unfortunate, as I feel like I had to definitely recover there when I probably didn't need to, and it means, as you'll see in a second, as I recover again, try and get up full, the infestation goes away, and then he can save his Samurott and go out into something which I don't really touch. I can infestation this, but it's definitely going to have Vol Absorb. I'm going to do a lot of damage to me, as I am going to get a knock off a Choice Scarf of the Lopunny. It's going to U-turn on me, back into Primordial Sea Magneton, as I recover up. Gonna Volt Switch again, just does a whole lot of damage, back into Lopunny, as I'm going to Scald, do very little damage. We're going to go out into Moltres, and he's going to return, which does a whole bunch of damage to me. I'm going to U-turn on it, and go out into my Hattrem. I was trying to get a Trick Room up, but unfortunately Hattrem just ended up being too weak, so I couldn't Trick Room, which was very difficult for me. Goes back into Lopunny. I forgot how a mechanic works, so here I'm going to click Defog as my opponent clicks Healing Wish, and I didn't realize, because there's no target when I click Defog, the hazards are here to stay, which really sucks for me. So obviously I couldn't do anything in that situation. Nothing I clicked would have done anything unless I Mach Punch and somehow killed it, but at that range I don't think I did. So it would have been like Mach Punching hoping for a crit so that the Healing Wish didn't come off. So Zamoron's going to get to full health, and it's going to be able to flip turn on me, go out into Goodra, as I'm going to Drain Punch and do 24 to Goodra. Not the worst. I believe I switch out here into my Pex. I'm going to get knocked off of our heavy duty boots, so I can no longer come in so freely, and we're going to take out. I decided to just stay in. The idea was, I thought he'd like Toxic me, so that I'd be immune, and then I could attempt to get a recover off. But after the knockoff, I was too low and I couldn't come back in on hazard, so I just sacked. Then going to go Ogerpon, and I believe that I click Knockoff. I thought the switch was coming out into Magneton since I don't do anything to it, and here I really should have clicked Play Rough, but I didn't. I Play Roughed there, so I just took Needless Chip on my Ogerpon really, and this ended up being a Scarf Samurott. Go into Primarina, so that Primordial Sea, this Razor Shell is going to do a whole bunch since it's boosted by me, but Moonblast is going to be able to take this out. Go out into Magneton. Primarina doesn't help me anymore. It dies to either of these mons, especially after if I switch out and get that like Spike Chip. So he's going to click Thunder and take me out. I'm going to go Moltres and click that Scorching Sands. It did manage to not die, but that burn was really helpful. Now I could have Mach Punched, but it would have just been an extra turn to kind of, I guess, see if I did have that Mach Punch, since I hadn't revealed it yet. Out into Titan. Gonna go with the Icicle Spear. I had to click Drain Punch here to do all that damage and get the health off. And yeah, So he got pretty unlucky with the Icicle Spear, how many hit. But that's the risk of not being a loaded dice. And I think he ended up being choice banned. So if he was loaded dice, it wouldn't have... I don't think it killed me. So yeah, a little unlucky for him, but unfortunately that's what happens. And we managed to scrape a 1-0 victory. I played pretty poorly in here. Something you're going to see is I'm going to make a lot of predictions that just don't end up being right, and it's something I'm really going to need to improve in my next league I play. I'm currently on a bit of a break until NBA gets back up in the new year. It's currently 1st of November by the time of recording this. This is like the week for the finals of MMDL. Yeah, they still haven't played the finals game. I think that's happening tomorrow at some point. But yeah, managed to scrape a victory due to some luck. But cool. Right, let's go to our next matchup. Next up, we're against a good pal of mine, the Honch 9. Who has been hounding me to make this video. And as I said, I would do it. Honch, look out! Yeah, we have a joke that he hits deers with his car, and he just kind of targets them. It's very sad. Peter should get involved. Right, the matchup on the screen. He has a Chandelure with Sheer Force Desolate Land, a Rotomosh with Earth Eater Magic Guard, a Tyranitar with Sword of Ruin Fluffy, a Hariyama with Protein and Tough Claws, a Swallow with Aerialate and Punk Rock, a Serperior with Grassy Surge Wellbake Body, a Klefki with Prankster, a Dragalge with Dragon's Maw and Regenerator, Silvally with its RKS system, and then Claydol with Water Absorb Tablets of Ruin. And let's go into my team. I didn't have a lot of time this week. This was right before I had a pretty important exam, which I ended up failing. So I'll be having that exam again in the coming weeks. But yeah, I just had a lot of stuff going on, and I wasn't really paying attention when it came to not only the builder, but the actual battle. I was playing the battle while talking to my parents about buying car insurance. So... that's always fun. We are good if you like Fluffy with Drain Punch, Mark Punch, Knock Off, and Bulk Up with 248 HP, 16 attack, 244 defense with an Adamant Nature. This was just pretty decent into my opponent's team, other than that Chandelure. It can take pretty good hits from something like the Tyranitar, like Silvally, stuff like that. Or Silvally, depending on its type, and just looked overall pretty good. We then have Ogerpon with Exabel, Sword of Ruin, Trailblaze, Ivy Cudgel, Zen Headbutt, Knockoff, 80 HP, 252 attack, 12 defense, 164 speed with a Jolly Nature. I believe this is... I'm probably just speed creeping Serperior, to be honest. Though I feel like I'm a little low to be speed creeping Serperior. So maybe it's... maybe Silvally? I don't remember. Silvally, possibly. Or it could be even Chandelure. I don't remember, man. We have Moltres with Heavy Duty Boots. We are bringing Desolate Land. Roost, Solar Beam, Fire Blast, Air Slash, 144 HP, 4 defense, 136 special attack. We have 224 speed with a Timid Nature. This is... because Solar Beam is just kind of like my best click into the T-Tar. If it comes in to be like the defensive check to me, I believe I 2-hit KO it if it's max HP. And that was just kind of the plan of this. Fire Blast hits quite a decent amount of the team for good damage. If it's not Wellbait Body Superior, I have the Air Slash. Klefki, although I don't really want to be staying in on a clef key because of the Thunder Wave. Fire Blast does a whole bunch. Solar Beam is also there for the Rotom Wash. I think I 2-hit KO that. I don't fully remember. And yeah, Roost just for longevity. We then have Skuntank. We have Choice Scarf this time. Vessel of Ruin. Knockoff, Gunk Shock, Superfang, Memento. With 252 attack, 32 defense, and 224 speed with a Jolly Nature. This is also for the Chandelure, I think. It also does good against something like the Superior, the Claydol, and can just do quite a bit of damage to some of the other stuff. We then have Primarina. We have Life Orb Regenerator, Calm Mind, Scald, Moonblast, and Shadowbolt. 240 HP, 252 special attack, 4 Spadef, 12 speed. I think this is to speed creep a non-invested Tyranitar. And yeah, it just does a whole bunch of damage. If I can start getting Calm Minds off, it will be really good. And then finally we have Cyclozar. We're Assault Vest, Wallbait Body, Rapid Spin, Knockoff, U-Turn, Draco Meteor, 248 HP, 68 Spadef, 192 speed with a Timid Nature. This just walls both stabs of the Chandelure. So it looked pretty good. God, my mouth is getting dry from speaking so long. Damn, we're 40 minutes in and not even on the third video. That's fun. Right, let's just jump into the battle. So, no Chandelure was a bit of a shock. I still don't fully know what Silvally it would be. I kind of thought Ghost was a pretty good bring. Also shocked that no Klefki came, and I think that was it in terms of what I thought would come. So yeah. I don't remember what my lead is. Ogerpon. Ogerpon lead against the Swallow, which is a very bad lead for me, so I had to switch into my Cyclozar, which does not take this at all. Goes out into Dragology on a knockoff, get rid of its Assault Vest, and I'm going to Draco Meteor to do a whole bunch of damage, but it's going to flip turn out. And now I don't do anything to this Tyranitar, so I'm just going to knock off in case it's weakness policy. It ended up being Choppleberry and gets up a Stealth Rock. I'm going to Rapid Spin, getting rid of those rocks, as it's going to take me out with a knockoff of its own. We're going out into Ogerpon, as I'm going to click Trailblaze, and I crit. So every time I've clicked Ivy Cudgel so far in this league, I have not gotten a crit, even though it's a high crit move. And this time, the Trailblaze does crit, and it ended up being really bad for me since my opponent kicked counter. If I didn't crit, the counter would not have killed me, and then I could have gone on to do so much more damage to this team. I think the Hariyama could have revenged, but because I don't know how much damage I would have taken, but that crit really sucked for me. Which is quite surprising. You never think, oh, that crit in my favor. Why was it so... Yeah, it's just unfortunate. So I go on to my Moltres. Here was a bit of a mess up. I should have properly calced the damage, but at the time I wasn't calcing as I was in the middle of a conversation about car insurance. I should have went into my Primarina, as I do believe it wasn't any speed. So my Primarina would have outsped it, and it's just overall nothing on his team really wants to take a Moonblast from Life Orb Primarina. But we go on to Moltres as I click Solar Beam, as it switches into a Swallow, which I have no switch-ins to. We go Gerda and sack it. Now, this is probably a bit of a mistake. The reason I did this is Gerda was like my main check to Tyranitar. And I thought, the Tyranitar is so low, I don't think it can, like, sweep me anymore. And it's not really a sweeping set. So I thought I could get rid of Gerda, which would be a massive mistake. Go out into my Skuntank, which I am Choice Scarf. This goes out into Hariyama, as we're going to Gunk Shot. Now, I'm aware that this could be a... Is it Protein Libero? protein set with Bullet Punch, but I don't really have the best switch in. I could go Moltres, but depending on what it clicks, I'm taking a whole bunch. So it does Bullet Punch, and obviously I click Gunk again, so it's going to be immune. Now I have to go into my Moltres on the Drain Punch, and thankfully I don't take too much. As he reveals to be Solvalli Rock, which is very hard for me to defeat now. I'm going to Fire Blast and do a decent chunk, and then it turns out I didn't speed creep this. No, sorry, I couldn't speed creep this as it always outsped me. But I kind of thought it would be more bulky than like max speed, but nope, I'm dead. Go into Primarina. I thought this would switch out, or like U-turn, parting shot, something. So I ended up clicking Calm Mind. Big mistake, as I get to it KO'd. I didn't realize that. And yeah, that's just gonna be game. Another 6-0. Let's go. Damn. 6-0 twice in my own league. Who would have thought? Yeah, GG's a haunch. Maybe if I prepped better, paid attention more, I would have been able to kill one of his mons. Maybe I got a bit too greedy with the Primarina, but I wasn't looking at calcs. And I kind of thought, surely he does switch, but no. Right. Let's go over to week number 7 against another really good friend of mine, Scythe, whose team consists of Darmanitan with Airlock, Sword of Ruin, Kilowattrel, Primordial Sea, Refrigerate, Hippowdon with Fluffy and Sap Sipper, Tentacruel with Volt Absorb and Vessel of Ruin, Duraludon with Magic Guard, Tablets of Ruin, Hatterene with Regenerator and Prankster, Mega Absol with Shadow Shield and Intimidate, Hitmonchan with No Guard, Adaptability, Glaceon with Galvanized Beads of Ruin, and Go-Goat with Grassy Surge, Well-Baked Body. Let's look at the team we were going to bring. We are Garganical, we're Rocky Helmet, Water Absorb, Stealth Rock, Recover, Salt Cure, Body Press, 248 HP, 44 Defense, 216 Spadef with an Impish Nature. I think this does... It appears I've deleted something I shouldn't have deleted. Is it this one? Aha, it's this one. This is for the Kilowattrel and also the Tentacruel, as they were pretty hard for me to switch in, well, particularly the Kilowattrel, but the Tentacruel also just like flip turning around was pretty annoying. It could potentially beat me if it was like offensive pump, surf, something like that. So that's why we went the Water Absorb. I wanted to get our Brox in the matchup. Recover just to keep myself healthy. Salt Cure was good at trying to chip stuff down, and then Body Press. We then have Cyclozar. We have Choice Band. This is going to be my lead. With Choice Band, Well-Baked Body, U-Turn, Double Edge, Facade, and Outrage. 252 attack, 48 Spadef, 208 speed with a Jolly Nature. I believe this outspeeds the Mega Absol. Didn't have a Ghost type, so I didn't want to go Scrappy. And then I can also take like a Flare Blitz from Darmanitan due to my Well-Baked Body. But this was my designated lead just to do damage with Double Edge. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Primarina with Assault Vest, Regenerator, 248 HP, 8 Defense, 252 Special Attack with a Quiet Nature, with Moonblast, Hydro Pump, Psychic, and Flip Turn. This is just to do as much damage as I can to my opponent, to be honest. I wasn't really calcing too much anymore when building, as this league defeated me. It showed how bad of not only team builder, but also like drafting and like the process of drafting a team I was. So it's something I'm really going to need to improve on for my next season. Next up we have our Toxapex, Black Sludge, Volt Absorb, will Recover, Scald, Gunk Shot, and Baneful Bunker. 248 HP, 172 Defense, 28 Special Attack, 52 Spadef, 8 Speed with an Impish Nature. I don't remember what I was cooking with this. It was something to do with Kilowattrel. And then... I don't know, man. I don't know what this is. I probably fucked this up somewhere, but it does something. And then we have Ogerpon with Choice Scarf, Sword of Ruin, 252 attack, 12 defense, 244 speed with an adamant nature. U-turn, Ivy Cudgel, Stomping Tantrum, and Knockoff. I think the speed is for Darmanitan, like a Scarf Darm. And it just does good damage into everything. Hippowdon has been like almost his MVP in terms of when team building with his Fluffy. So it could be Fluffy, but also he's got that Sap Sipper. He could be like Sap Sipper Ability Shield or something like that. Which might be something I ban in the future. Might ban Ability Shield. There need to be a lot of bans in this format when we try again, but we've got time until Generation 10 for me to kind of sit down and sort out this cesspool. And then finally we have Moltres with Life Orb, Magic Guard, Fireblast, U-turn, Roost, and Bravebird. 248 HP, 136 defense, 40 special attack, 84 speed with a bold nature. Yet again, don't know what this was. Speed for something, special attack to probably 2-hit KO or something, and then the rest in defense to take hits from Dom, I guess. Yeah, that's the team. Let's get into the battle. No Darmanitan was a shock to me, as well as no Duraludon. Glaceon, I kind of under-prepped for Glaceon, and then I never considered Hitmonchan in the first place, but the rest made sense. Well, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen at some point. So we do lead our Cyclizar into a lead Hitmonchan. I thought this was just going to like Mach Punch me and maybe be like Adamant Banded Adaptability, and was going to do like 80% maybe. But no, I just click Double Edge and it dies. So didn't get 6-0'd. Round of applause. Didn't get 6-0'd. Gonna take a lot of recoil. Gonna go out into his Kilowattrel, as I can just go out into Garganical. Got both Garganical and Toxapex kind of wall this. So that's good for me. He's just gonna U-turn out, take Rocky Helmet Chip into his Hippowdon, which I'm going to get up Rocks. He's gonna end up toxing me as I Salt Cure him and do some okay chip. He's gonna Body Press me as I think recover. Yep. Just trying to rack up some of this Salt Cure chip, I guess, as I go into Moltres on the Slack Off. Now, this was a bit of a mistake from me, as I did this thinking it would be Fluffy, and this would be absolutely nuke this. I think at the end it was revealed to be Sap Sipper, so I probably should have went like Primarina or something to threaten it out. Though I think overall for both Moltres and Primarina the switching is Tentacruel. But yeah, I could have like Psychicked with the Primarina. Go out onto my Cyclizar on the Rapid Spin. And now this outspeeds me, but he's going to go out into Hippowdon as I U-turn out. Now into my Primarina. As he goes Hatterene on my flip turn. Go Moltres. Gonna cook Fire Blast and do absolutely nothing, as I think this was like max Spadef AV. The Regenerator. Gonna U-turn on the Tentacruel. Go out into my Cyclizar again. Something's gonna take a Double Edge, I think. Yep, being the Hippowdon. I think we Double Edge again. Nope. I'm very surprised I didn't Double Edge. Why didn't I Double Edge? Did I not kill? I did 40. Okay, I guess I didn't kill. But, you know, playing poorly. Flipped them on the Tentacruel into the Moltres. And now I can Brave Bird and kill the Tentacruel. Out into Kilowattrel, I can go out into one of my defensive checks. Gonna U-turn on me. Kind of wish I was Helmet on this Toxapex. Into Glaceon. As I'm going to Scald it. I think go into Garganacl. And this Freeze Dry does so much. Hex, Beads of Ruin, Glaceon, which I think has 130 special attack, just has 0 switch-ins on my team. Yeah, we're going to Fire Blast the Hippowdon. And we're going to take it out. I think it was... Yeah, I think it was Sepsipper, because I think that special attack investment I had was to Oko a fluffy Hippowdon. So yeah, definitely Sapsiver. Goes on to Kilowattrel. Go on to my Pex. Hurricane does a lot. He's going to U-turn. Out into the Glaceon. As I recover. Go into my Primarina for a sack, as I didn't think I really needed it anymore. Go into Cyclozar. We're going to Double Edge. And I think this is a roll. I don't remember in whose favor for this Hatterene to die. We're just going to knock off. And then we go into his I'm Scarf. This was another roll. It lived on 1 and took out my Ogerpon. Go on to Pex. It U-turns. Really wish I was Helmet. And yeah, Scald do end up getting the burn. Yeah. So the thing, now that I don't, this didn't die, so this is Primordial Sea, I can't beat this with my Moltres, since it always just comes in on me. So I ended up sacking the Moltres, trying to get burn chip, but yeah, unfortunately at that point I was never winning, because the Kilowattrel lived. So yeah, very, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate loss. I think I played relatively okay. I think I made a couple blunders here and there, but overall, it is what it is. Okay, final matchup against Cavern, who has a very, very obnoxious team. He has Regenerator, Sapsipper, Swampert. He has Steely Spirit, Well-Baked Body, Tinkerton. He has Sheer Force, Galewing's own Jugulus. He has Adaptability, Aerialate, Brambleghast. He has Moldbreaker, Prankster, Overquill. He has Pixelate, Psychic Surge, Espeon. He has Serene Grace, Wind Rider, Hisuian Decidueye. He has Magic Guard, Intimidate, Braviary. He has Earth Eater, Refrigerate, Rotom Heat, and Perish Body, Aroma Veil, Dracoloak. And the team we are bringing is this. We are Mental Herb, Earth Eater, Toxapex with Skull, Recover, Haze, and Spite with 248 HP, 8 Defense, 252 Spadeth with a Calm Nature. This is mainly for the Iron Jugulus in terms of taking hits, and then I'm the Mental Herb, Spite and Haze to try and not lose to Tinkerton. That's like the main reason that's here. We then have Rindoberry, Regenerator, Primarina with Moonblast, Hydro Pump, Aqua Jet, and Encore. 248 HP, 252 special attack, and 8 speed. I think this takes a hit from rather the Brambleghast or the Hisuian Decidueye, and then I can KO it back. Or I think I do enough where I can then KO with Aqua Jet, something like that. Regenerate to try and keep myself healthy. We then Assault Vest, Vessel of Ruin, Scun Tank, Knock Off, Foul Play, Gunk Shot, Temper Flare, 248 HP, 12 attack, 248 Spadef. It's just another Spadef wall, mainly for that Espeon, but can also somewhat take hits from that Iron Jugulus. We then have Moltres. We are no item. Magic Guard, Roost, U-Turn, Brave Bird, Scorching Sands. 248 HP, 4 attack, 252 defense, 8 speed with a Impish nature. This is my main check to a adaptability Brammelgast, as it won't be able to hit me for very much damage at all, since it doesn't get a whole lot of coverage. No item means Poltergeist doesn't touch me, and then I 4 times resist any of its grass type attacks. So that was kind of the main reason. 8 for speed creeps, and then, yeah, just the rest in bulk. God, I'm getting a sore throat from speaking so long. Right, Garganical, we are Sugar Berry, Water Absorb, Salt Cure, Explosion, Recover, Protect, 248 HP, 252 Defense, 8 Spadef with an Impish Nature. This is mainly for that Swampert. Being able to Salt Cure that down. I can explode on something like an Iron Jugulus, and then Recover, Protect, which is kind of the next best things, I guess. Protect to try and get Salt Cure Chip, and then Recover to try and stay healthy. And then finally we have Oakmon. We have Focus Sash. I think this was my designated lead at the time. I don't remember if I led off with it though. Ivy Cudgel, Rock Tomb, Stomping Tantrum, Knockoff with 252 attack, 4 Spadef, 252 speed with a Jolly Nature. Yeah. A lot of the 110 Mons really like just running max. Yeah. Ivy Cudgel just does so much damage with Sword of Ruin. And I'm almost certain that the Swampert would be like Sap Zipper in this. With Ability Shield. Since to try and stop the Terrorbolt. Rock Tomb is my best thing to hit something like the Rotom Heat as well as the Iron Jugulus. I could have been player off, but Rock Tomb just did, I think, a bit more, especially because I lower the speed, so if it is Scarf, I then can outspeed and get the 2 hits off. Stomping Tantrum hits a non-Earth Eater Rotom Heat, as well as Tinkaton, Overcoil, and does good damage, and then Knock Off just to get rid of items. Let's get into the game. So, not seeing any of like the Brammelgast, or not seeing the Hisuian Decidueye was a little bit of a shock to me, but all these kind of make sense for coming. Oh, I did it again. Let me take a minute to compose myself. Right, so we lead off our Ogerpon. It was our designated lead, I was correct. Into Legendary, the Tinkaton. I believe I'm just going to go and click that high horsepower. No, Stomping Tantrum, sorry. As he does go into Rotom Heat. I think I then click that Rock Tomb and do a decent chunk of damage, lowering its speed as it reveals that it's a T-Wave Rotom Heat. Which, fair enough. Unfortunately, I'm going to get paralyzed as the overheat's going to take me down to my sash. We're going to Knock Off. It reveals this is Ability Shield, so if I was that Terravolt, I couldn't hit this, which makes sense. And it's going to be able to take me out, and I'm not going to be able to KO it. So yeah, that full power was a little unfortunate for me. He's going to go out into Overcoil. For some reason I go Toxpex. I don't know why I went Toxpex, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I couldn't tell you, as Garganical should have probably always been my switch. But it's going to SD on me. I'm going to attempt to Scald Burn, not get the burn, as it's going to crunch and do so much damage. I'm going to Haze, but I'm already so low. Now I go into my Garganical. as he goes Tinkerton, and reveals to be Covert Cloak, which makes sense. I'm going to protect on the Gigaton. Going to go out into my Moltres. It's going to SD. It's going to be faster. It's going to land Stone Edge, and I'm dead. Now we go Skuntank into Pex, trying to get that Gigaton off to force it to lose PP. And it reveals to protect, so I can't even hit it. And then from here, we just get swept. So yeah, in my own league, I got 6-0'd 3 times. The first time I've ever been 6-0'd ever since starting draft. I haven't been in too many drafts, as I like to take it relatively slow, doing a maximum of like 1 at a time, or maybe 2 if I'm like towards the end of one. And yeah, this was just a very poor performance from me. But yeah, we're gonna have to improve. I have hope for the next season of the NBA. It's a format that we're looking to do, which I haven't tried before. But obviously, with like the new megas in there, it should be fun. I just got to get this drafting just down. I think the problem that I'm having is I'm just not meshing well with the teams. So this season, I kind of just drafted mons that I thought would be really good at the beginning, and then I think it like 4 picks in, I realized, my first 3 picks, I realized, typing wise, I've got a grass, a rock, and a bug. This is not good. But yeah. So overall, this format, I'm gonna have to make a lot of changes for the next time we run this back in Generation 10. I keep saying Generation 10, we might run this back sooner. It depends when Gen 10 is gonna actually be released. If it takes too long, who knows, maybe we'll do it before Gen 10, but yeah, this just wasn't my best showing. But that is everything for the MMDL. Next season, I'll be a little quiet on what we're going to do. It's going to be a bit more of a normal format. It'll still have its own gimmick, but in terms of battling, it'll be way more normal than almost any ability. And yeah, it should be fun. That'll be coming after NBA Season 9, so I think it'll be like towards the end of February, beginning of like March. So we got a good couple months before then, which will help me when it comes to like tiering. Though I have warned everyone, due to the format, the tiering is going to be the worst tiering they've ever seen, and yeah, that's intentional and not due to me being bad. Yeah, hope you guys all did enjoy this incredibly long, almost 1 hour and 10-minute video. Yeah, sorry it wasn't as like analytical as I like doing. I don't remember what any of the sets properly did. And then there's times where I think I just put stuff in randomly, honestly. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy. And I'd love to see you. I will be recording NBA Season 9. I think I might also kind of do a video of me like physically drafting. I feel like that could be a bit fun and might help me just kind of in future see how I'm doing. Am I getting it right? Am I getting it wrong? And yeah, and hopefully you guys can help me out. Take care, everyone.